In its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And live from Harlem in New York City, it's me. I'm Alex Bennett, and this is the Ramble. And guess who's back? Look who's there. Look who's there. Look who's there. I haven't seen you in a...
I know, it's tempting to say a coon's age, isn't it? For people of our era.
Yes, it is. And coon should refer to a raccoon.
Because it's a part of the word.
Yeah, so a coon's age would be a raccoon's age.
Yes.
Okay.
And then America, in its bias, started using it to describe African American.
Yes.
Which is not cool.
Anyway, when was the last time we talked to you? I was trying to figure this out last night.
Well, I was diagnosed November 23rd, right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then I think we might have done one more, but probably not because the holidays then came into play.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing over the holidays.
Wow. And we haven't talked. Well, then we haven't talked to her since November. So, well, it's December, January, February, March, April.
Yeah.
5 months. 5 months. I know.
It seems like a lifetime, and in a way, it seems like it was yesterday.
Well, what I've been doing is I've been running reruns of you constantly.
Yes.
Because I didn't want people to forget who you were.
God love you for, looking out for my legacy.
Let's talk about this adventure.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
Well, it started when I found a little lump in my throat. Not like one that when you say something poignant or sentimental, but an actual lump.
Yeah.
And it concerned me because of all the cancers, that's the only one I've really been to. Esophageal and throat cancer.
Yeah.
Esophageal failed. Ann Richards, one of my favorite people. And for people that talk a lot, our voice is our bond.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I immediately made an appointment. And at first he gave me something to kind of bring the swelling down.
Uh-huh.
And that worked, but then the tumor was still there. I could feel it. So he sent me to an ENT who said, "You have squamous cell throat cancer and a squamous cell tumor near your voice box." And it was like, oh, man.
Oh, God, here we go.
Yeah.
The very thing that is your identity.
Right. Oh, Ben,
I know the feeling because,
You were one of the people that I knew realized what I'd...
Oh, no, I always have had this great fear of being able to lose this.
Yeah.
And having it be affected by some kind of horrible cancer or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And so it's my identity is my voice. And
exactly,
your identity is your voice.
Yeah, it's struck to the core.
Now, you always had kind of what we call a whiskey voice.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's what I was working with to begin with. And so I thought, well, maybe that. And he said, you will... it will go away completely. And I sounded like, the proverbial mouse. It was awful. This is after the radiation.
Okay, well, let's take it a step at a time, okay?
Okay.
All right.
So I go to the ENT, and he confirms it.
Yeah, he confirms it.
Squamous cell cancer tumor next to the voice box.
Okay. Now, if they did nothing, my question has always been, if they did nothing, would you still be alive today?
I ask this because, believe me, radiation is not for wimps.
Radiation, I found radiation fine.
When you're going through it, it's like zippity-doo-dah. They put you in a tube for about, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like 5 minutes. And then...
Mine was longer because they did, I only had 5 treatments. It was a thing called CyberKnife, and it's faster and more,
Yeah.
So I had that. The term, it's a business term called CyberKnife. It's called something else. I can't remember, static or something. Anyway.
Anyway.
That's what I had. And I just found it the easiest thing in the world. I mean, I'd lie there, and this thing would come around, and then it would look at me, and I'd go, "Hi, fella," and then it would go away, and it would come around again,
Yeah.
And my doctor was in the other room saying, "Move the camera this way, move it that way. Let's see what's happening there." And then they would zap me and say, "Okay, that's it."
Yep.
I'd go home, no effects. No effects at all.
No, it didn't at first. For the first 3 weeks, I thought this is a cakewalk. Chemotherapy, I wasn't tired the day of chemotherapy or the day after, but the third day, all I did was sleep. Because I had radiation and chemo on the same
Boy,
day.
they were really belting you with this stuff all at once. I mean, with me, they did the radiation, and then a week later, I went in for the seeds to be implanted.
Yeah.
As it was, I had to do it 2 weeks later because I went to the hospital and I sat there for a while in my robe, and my doctor came down and said, "Can't do it today. They didn't order a part."
You're down a muffler.
So, well, here's how lucky I was. So I went back the next week. He called me and said, "Come back on Monday or Tuesday." And I went back like Tuesday, and they did the whole operation with the seeds being implanted. The next day, they closed down the hospital because of COVID.
Oh, I thought you were
So
gonna
I
give away all the
really
seeds.
dodged a bullet there.
Yeah,
You know.
man. You
But
did.
but neither of those processes really affected me. I mean, the seeds did afterwards because they had to give me a spinal to numb me out because they didn't want to put me out because I'm too old. Okay,
Oh.
so if they don't have to put you out, they won't. And I just, he did what he did, and afterwards, the frustrating part was for 2 hours, I couldn't walk. I could. There's nothing, no feeling below my waist
Oh, because the anesthesia?
because of the spinal.
Oh,
Everybody else who was put out and had things was getting up and walking out, and I'm going, I can't. And I got really frustrated. I mean, not being able to walk is what?
Hoffman, Midnight Cowboy, yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. And and then they say, well, you can't leave until you can go to the bathroom and fill up this bottle with pee. So I get off the gurney and I stumble. I'm literally, I barely walk to the bathroom, and I grab the bottle and I only fill it like a third. And I was so nasty during this whole process, so cranky, that when I went back with the 1/3 filled bottle, the nurse went, "Okay, we'll accept that. You can leave."
They handed you a 40-ounce.
But that was the worst part about that treatment was coming out of the, well, not anesthesia, but whatever made me numb below the waist.
Yeah.
That just used to happen on a bad date,
Because they think, and I'm sorry, can I just get a drink of water?
Oh, okay. I'll put it on pause here, and you can go get a drink of water, and then we'll start it up again in a second. Well, she's back again. Oh, there she is. Yeah.
There I am.
She had to get some water. You're not 100% yet, are you?
No, it's you know what it is? It's the after effects. It's the damn cough. It's just awful.
Really?
And it was for a while. It was like every 15 minutes, racking coughs.
Yeah.
That took you over.
Yeah.
And they scratch on your throat. Dude.
I know the feeling because for the last couple of weeks, I had about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a really kind of bad cold for a day, and then it lasted with a cough for 2 weeks.
Oh, then it's awful. You can't sleep.
Well, I didn't have a problem that way, but it's been terrible. Oh, hey, you had worse cancer than I did.
Oh, let's play the cancer poker. I'll raise you throat cancer.
No, I got you beat. I got CLL, which is chronic lymphatic leukemia.
Oh, well, fine. I didn't know you could pull, related but other diseases.
Hey, I'll drop the mic now. Yeah. My leukemia. It's funny. The prostate cancer I had, they got. Okay, it's been about almost 4.5 years now, and there's no sign of it. All right.
That's great. 4.5 years is great.
Yeah, but then I got leukemia, but it was called CLL, chronic lymphatic leukemia, and anybody that knows about what it is knows that. And I'm going to ask my doctor next time. Do I have to consider myself as having cancer? Because what happens is they find this in your blood, and then they don't do anything until they see signs.
Yeah.
And if you don't have any signs, they don't do anything. And if they see signs, they give you a little, as he describes it, a little pill, which probably costs $1,000 a piece.
Of course.
And then he says, that'll solve the problem. He says, you're not going to die from it, you're going to die with it.
That's good. I mean, we're all going to die with something.
Well, of something, but not with something.
Yeah.
So, so I had that, I have this kind of, had two cancers that were easily taken care of.
It's like the rumble in the jungle.
Yeah.
The cancer is battling each other.
Yeah, no, but it was easily taken care of. They were no problem.
That's so good.
But your cancer, on the other hand, was a true cancer. Now, I don't know, if you lived in Manhattan, you went over to Mount Sinai with what you had, if they would handle it in the same way.
I wonder, too. We almost went to, is it McKesson? Or anyway, the University of Birmingham. But instead, my doctor sent my slides to the University of Birmingham, which is a good research facility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so that he confirmed what we thought the diagnosis was.
Yeah, but here they might treat it differently.
That's true.
I read, for instance, I looked up the seeds that I did.
Yeah.
And they say it's used for two things, prostate cancer and neck cancer.
Really? Oh, I should have asked.
They probably don't, if they're down there, nobody around there does seeds. It's something that some places, they say, well, we just don't do that. It's not good. And what they're saying is they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And my doctor, who did Rudy Giuliani, knew how to do it. He'd done 4,000 seed implantations.
But he's not the one who made Rudy crazy. No.
He kept him alive, and that's the other problem.
Yeah.
But I never brought that up to him, by the way, even though it was very well known. You read any of the articles, and this doctor's name comes up whenever you mention Giuliani.
Yeah, which is kind of like a spark, It's like, oh, that's mine.
Well, I mean, Giuliani's had it. It's been 20 years since he got the seeds, and he's fine. Well, I mean, he's not fine. He's a nutcase, but he's not. He's fine. And that's why when you were getting all this down there, I wondered if you wouldn't do better being in Manhattan and going to a place like Mount Sinai, who might say, well, we can use the seeds in the neck.
Yeah.
I think and the radiation would only be 5 days.
Oh, mine was 35 days.
I know people that have had that. And it's the long version of radiation.
The taffy version.
Well, what's happened is they have, what have they done to it? They've expanded it to I'm trying to think of what exactly that thing that I was mentioning. Oh boy, I just dropped some.
Chronic lymphatic leukemia.
I just dropped some coffee or stuff on my.
I know.
Here we go. I got a little soda that fell down on the keyboard. Gosh.
Anyway. I'm a spiller, so I relate.
Yes. Anyway, the point I'm making is that here they may have taken a more what we call conservative approach to the whole thing, because I question that you then went through chemo, and you were going through chemotherapy while they were giving you the radiation. My God,
on the same day, often.
Yeah. And
you know what? There were people that I met in radiation who I just really like, but they were doing full-time jobs. I mean, and still carry on and doing chemo radiation. I don't know how they did it.
Well, if you only had to do the radiation, I don't think you would have been as sick as you were. You know.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, but chemo, on the other hand, I think about witch doctors who rattle bones, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the cure. That's the best cure we have. We rattle bones over your body, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, are we going to look at chemotherapy that way someday?
I've wondered that. In fact, I used to say if I got cancer, I would not take chemo.
Yeah.
Mainly because I don't like laying anywhere for 6 hours unless I'm participating.
Well, you know, the last time we did you, I don't mean sexually, I meant interviewing. The last time we did you, you looked fine. You looked really healthy. Mm-hmm. You know, you weren't coughing or anything like that.
No.
Then you went through all this stuff.
And it takes a toll.
And boy, it does take its toll.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so.
And I would consider myself kind of over the bulk of the, the symptoms and the fallout and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to get too used to that because, like, this cough comes up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take it slow.
So, you know, but I wonder if, you know, the cure wasn't really kind of the worst part of this, you know?
It really was.
And it's kind of a, what can I call it? The word I'm looking for is it's kind of just a drastic approach.
Yeah.
You know?
We're going to go in and do all this. We're going to throw everything at it.
Yeah. But, you know, if you had to come to New York and they go, well, we can do seeds for a lump in the neck.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have had to go through all that chemo because they would give you the radiation and then they would give you the seeds, you know.
Oh, yeah. There wasn't a day that I went in for chemo and thought, I wonder if this is all necessary, you know. Does this make any sense? Or is it just what we have now? You know, so.
Well, they run poisons through your body. You know.
Do what?
Run poisons through your body. You don't have to talk.
Exactly.
You don't have to talk as much if you don't want to.
Okay.
You know. But here's my big question. For a while, I just didn't hear from you, and that always worried me because I thought about you. I think every day. Okay.
Oh, you were so good. I mean, you were so good to text me and stay in contact. It meant the world to me.
Well, you know, I've lost so many people over the last couple of years. People that I like Christy, for instance, as an example, was my producer and worked with us. And I just, you know, I'm sorry. I was just, you know, I was beset by saying, I don't want to lose another person. You know, I don't want to lose another friend.
Well,
and so I worried about you. And then I didn't hear from you for about a week. And
there was 1 week when I just was good for nothing but sleep.
Wait a minute.
There were a couple.
What happened that put you in the hospital?
Oh, that was completely unrelated. This was after the treatments. Well, it wasn't unrelated at all.
Okay.
I had that cough, the hacking cough, and it got to the point because of some medication I was taking and some cough syrup I had taken, and what it did was repress my breathing so badly and intensely that I had to go to the emergency room, and they put me on a ventilator. Yeah, so this was all fallout.
So you don't think this is part of the whole radiation chemotherapy thing?
Oh, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's the fallout from it. And I think, you know, that may pop up. Like, I was shocked. I thought it was fine. You know, when we were doing the recordings, it didn't even enter my mind I would have a coughing jag. Because that's how unexpected they are. And you can go on and on and on without one. And then, boom.
Yeah. But
that's what.
But you started getting the coughing jag after you got while or after you were getting the radiation and the chemo.
Right. That had ended in the coughing jag, which was intense.
Wasn't the chemo worse than the radiation?
Not really, except in its tiresome, its wearisome effects. And sitting there with a PICC line shooting chemo into you is for 6 hours. It's so boring. I watched a lot of TNT, Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah.
And so, it made it somewhat better.
it's amazing that it takes that long, 6 hours.
I know. Well, a lot of that is kind of, you know, medical dicking around.
Medical dicking around, is that what you call it?
Excuse me. They have
But
to,
what they're literally doing, and this is my big question about chemo, is they're just simply putting poison in your body.
oh yeah, exactly. And I was very aware of that. And I thought, but see, we were so interested in getting it right away that, Ben, do you want to do a different one? Maybe tomorrow?
No, you're doing fine, actually. Just don't
Okay.
talk. I'll do a lot of the talking, okay?
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but chemo, it feels like poison.
Yeah.
The
See, the
day-
problem Lori has, shut up. It's a problem that Lori has today, and she will have, I'm sure, for a number of times we do this, is that she's got this cough, and she's a certain weakness to her voice. And I don't think at a stretch you probably talk this much.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Usually I'm good for about 5 to 7 minutes. And then I can
Well, then
talk.
shut up for about 5 to 7 minutes, and then
Okay.
we'll get back to anyway. I just worried so much that you were getting over medicated.
Yeah.
I just find that in New York, the medicine is far more, how can I call it, wait and see.
Uh-huh.
Now, obviously, if you had a lump in your neck and they took it out and they found out it was malignant, that's terrible. Now,
Yeah.
but the question is, has it spread to other parts of your body?
Right. Well, I think it was its proximity to the lymph nodes that gave them extra pause throughout this.
Yeah.
Because it was real close to the voice box. And they wanted to make, and the lymphatic system.
Mhm.
And they wanted to make sure that it didn't spread.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
How are
And they
you?
take drastic measures.
Yeah. I think that it is a drastic measure, that I just think there's got to be a certain balance between cure and what the cure that you decided on does to the person.
Exactly. Then this was because, I mean, if I had to do over, of course, I didn't know. If I let this go with no treatment,
Mm-hmm.
what will happen? I thought of that. And there's
Yeah.
a good chance it would have just gone away.
Well,
But-
I'm thinking of asking my doctors next time. I didn't ask them this. With my lymphatic, my chronic lymphatic leukemia, I go in every 6 months, and he does a complete panel blood test, looks at it and says, nothing's changed, or it's a little changed, or whatever, but nothing to worry about. Go home, see me in another 6 months. And that's fine. What was the point I was trying to make here? Oh, yeah. So, I mean, that's the conservative approach they're taking here. In a place like where you are, down in Florida, where they still do medicine by rattling bones, it just might be that they don't have a wait and see feeling about what I have.
I think maybe, and that might be the climate here in Florida. By that, I don't mean rain and stuff. I mean the climate of the patients. Because,
Yeah.
it is a retirement area. And
Yeah.
so they just want to keep people alive.
Yeah, I guess they do, but they're so afraid that they're going to make the wrong diagnosis. They just throw all this stuff at you. Here
Exactly,
in New
man.
York, they're a little more careful about that.
Yeah, which I kind of would have, because I often wonder, what if I just monitored it, but not treated it?
Yeah, they say, well, you spread all over your body, but they didn't know it went to the lymph nodes.
No, it hadn't. Yeah, but they just wanted to prevent it.
So it's like taking a sledgehammer to your head when you have a headache.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense at all. And
Yeah.
So I sat here thinking about you and what a sweet, wonderful woman you are, and thinking that you do not deserve this.
Oh, it was just, I don't think I ever thought, why me? Because why not me? Everybody's in the world has the right to a happy life.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's what happens when you breathe your first breath. You're signing up for this.
Yep.
Right out of the womb.
You're signing up for it. Well, I'm so happy to see you again, and I know you still have a little leftovers from the throat not being as strong as it was, but it will get stronger.
Good.
My prescription, and I'm not a doctor, is that we do one of these every week, and eventually your voice will come back to full form. When you're sitting around the house, you're not using your voice in the same way.
Right, and I have noticed a difference.
Yeah.
Believe me, yeah.
Yeah. But
I was really surprised.
You look well, a little skinnier, Well, I mean, that was to be expected.
Yeah.
What? You're gonna eat a full dinner after going to chemo? I don't think so.
No. In fact, there were days when you just can't eat.
Yeah.
No appetite, no taste. Why eat?
Yeah.
But my husband made homemade banana pudding. Like, I had it every day.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sounds like he took good care of you.
He took wonderful care of me. Yeah.
And the shame for Rick is he's gone through this before. He had a wife die of cancer.
Of breast cancer, yeah.
Yeah. So to see it suddenly coming back, in his case, it must have been a shock to him,
Well, I think he wonders in his heart of hearts at night, am I the carrier?
Yeah, exactly.
And she died, yeah.
Yeah. So, but you're gonna live. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah. I'll live to pester you forever.
Yeah. Until I go, which could be any minute now. Well, I'm 85, and I wake up in the morning and go, hey, I still got a pulse. Good. I'm a little lightheaded when I walk around, and you have all this thing and that thing, but I did worry about you, and my thoughts were constantly with you.
Oh, man, I felt it. I just felt your love and your concern and your regularity with the text. I mean, because some people get.
Well, I didn't want you to think that I was texting you because I was nudging you to go on with me and do one of these things.
Oh, no,
I was just trying to see that you were getting better and that,
I took it that way,
Yeah.
completely in the same spirit.
Yeah.
And it was really.
And when you disappeared into the hospital, and then there's a picture of you with a ventilator.
Yeah, that was horrible. That was because I was trying to treat the cough, so I'd taken some cough syrup, and it was like a Marx Brothers comedy.
Yeah.
Medical decisions not to make.
Yeah. Anyway, listen, let's try and do this next week.
Okay, let's do that.
And if we can only do it for 7 minutes, okay, fine. I'll do talking for the rest of the time. But I love you, dear, and we're glad to see you're alive and well and basking in the Florida weather there.
Well, thank you, man. I love you, and I thank you so much for your regular text and just your concern. I felt your love and concern during the whole thing.
Don't go. I have too many people I know who have. Lori Thompson, ladies and gentlemen, she's back and kicking. Bye.
Bye.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Well, she is back. Indeed, she is back, and I couldn't be happier. It was a little hard for her today. She got, at one point she said to me, why don't we just stop this now, and then we'll redo this. We'll do this next week, or we'll do this tomorrow. And I said, no, just let's keep going. And if you don't want to talk, I'll talk for both of us, And she said, fine. And we kept going, and her voice was kind of giving out a little bit. But, each week that we do this, I'm sure it will get better and better. And also, I honestly feel that it's therapeutic for her to be able to do it and to talk and to be able to have a little bit of ability to talk. It was wonderful, just wonderful. And I'm so happy to see her. I mean, I just, I can't tell you how I worried about her during this period of time, because she is maybe, I guess in some ways, excuse me, folks, pollen is going crazy, and Marjorie leaves the windows open now. I just, I've had so many people that I've lost over the last couple of years that to not lose, to have her get this ill was kind of bothering me a great deal. And I forgot, I was going to say, she was my other wife, I always called her. Because this is a woman who every morning I woke up and within 20 minutes I was looking at her ugly mug. And we would do radio shows together. And I spent more time with her, I think, than just about any other woman in my life. Because she was there every day. We'd spend 4 hours doing the show, maybe another hour afterwards talking about it and, de-escalating from it and so on. And so she became kind of my other wife. It was that kind of relationship, very strange relationship. But I loved her dearly, and I'm so glad that she's getting better. Okay? All right? Okay? Are we happy with that? I'm happy with it, Anyway, there are two people waiting. Two people waiting. That's it. Two people waiting. That's amazing. Well, let me just go and admit both of them and see what we're going to do. There's pollen is going crazy. Jeff, turn down your audio. So this is Jeff, turn down your audio, Jeff.
So many people have lost.
No, Jeff, you've got to turn down your audio. There, it went away now. But now we can't hear him, obviously, because he oh, well. Hello, Josh. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. I'm fine. Let's see if we can get Jeff going here. Can you hear me, Jeff? He can't hear me because he hasn't got his earphones on.
We do radio shows together.
No, you see, you got it. Oh God, Jeff.
Gotta close his browser out.
Yeah, he's got it. He turns himself off completely. So it's just you and I, Jeff. I mean, Josh.
Right now.
Yeah. But hello, Josh. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
What do you mean you're doing all right?
Oh, I'm doing all right.
You don't sound thrilled.
Yeah, it's been a shitty month.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't have a job, and our, we had this little orange cat for 15 years, and she died yesterday.
Oh God. Oh God.
She had a good life.
That's horrible when that happens. Yeah. And the reason why that's horrible, especially horrible, is that I've often said we almost suffer more from the death of an animal than we do from the death of a wife or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
Animals. How long was she with you?
She was 15.
Oh wow, that's getting up there for a cat.
Oh yeah.
My oldest cat was 18 years old.
Yeah, we had one before that lived to be basically, I think, that age.
Yeah. So you're gonna go out and get another cat?
We still have two. We had three.
Okay, all right. So you still got a bunch.
I mean, the other two are over 10. One of them's one of them's the same age as the one that just died.
Mm-hmm.
She was from the same litter, and I think the other's 10 or 11.
Okay, well,
But they both are in good shape. They get around fine.
Yeah, because I always went out and immediately got another cat. Immediately.
You never know.
Well,
Avoid, getting another one for right now, but.
And I look at the old cat as it's lying there dead going, and you thought you were irreplaceable, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was old, but she was a pretty good cat.
I had one cat I absolutely loved. I mean, he was my favorite cat I ever owned. His name was Shabbos. I call him Shabbos. And he was a Siamese, and he was a Seal Point Siamese. And there was just something about him. He was so wise, He was like my guru. And he was a very wise cat. And I loved that animal, and I loved the the way he reacted to stuff and everything. He was just the best cat possible. And then I had another one called Charlie, and he only had 4 toes. No, Charlie, and Charlie was just a great cat. He's very smart and precociously smart. And I would be watching television. He would come to the bed and lie next to me and put his paw around my shoulder and just watch television with me. You know?
Yeah. This cat was she was pretty attached for the last 2 years, especially. She went pretty much everywhere we went. She slept in the bed every night, all night. So
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of are you a cat guy or a dog guy?
I mean, I'd be, we've had cats since I met my wife, so I like them. Dog is fine. Certain kind of dogs, fine with me. I don't like certain breeds, but we just haven't had a dog because we always had cats. Wouldn't say wouldn't get a dog, so a little bit of both. But
I'm basically a cat guy. Always have been.
They're a little easier than dogs, I think, not having to let them out.
I had a dog when I was a kid, okay, and I loved that dog. He was a wonderful dog.
Yeah, we did too when I was young.
But the cats I really loved, And then when I went out on my own, I just owned cats. I never owned a dog.
Yeah, a little easier probably, but yeah. No.
Marjorie, on the other hand, adores dogs.
Really? Yeah,
oh yeah,
people really do, but
she looks at
I've always gotten aggravated over the years, like because there's not nearly as much public assistance and things for cats, like shelters and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you find an injured cat or whatever, it's like, oh well, okay, but it's like an injured dog. Oh, a dog. Oh, poor doggy. 500 people will show up in minutes. Ready to
when like those commercials for the ASPCA or whatever.
Yeah.
They always show dogs primarily. They show one cat or so. That's about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They've always kind of bothered me with that. But
please give money to puppies without paws.
Yeah. No, she was good. She had a really good life, and it didn't. She didn't get in pain or anything there yesterday at the end. She was actually fine the day before. She's had a thyroid issue for about 1.5 years. She took medication for, but it looked like that combined yesterday with maybe her kidneys started to shut down because she wasn't getting any rest. She was peeing like every 20 minutes.
Oh,
little
boy.
dabbles here and there, like wherever she was too. She would go to the litter box like every time, but like if she was in her cat bed or whatever, she would just kind of put dabbles of pee in it and then just lay back down. So it just started, and we already knew this might be coming. And they said, like when it starts, she'll get really sick and everything. So we had a cat.
Do the other cats seem to notice she's gone?
No, not I don't think.
Not really?
No.
Just more cat food for them.
Yeah, probably. No, I mean this cat had a companion that died 2 years ago, and she became attached to us after that. But prior to that, she had a companion cat that she was with 24/7.
Yeah.
They slept in the same cat bed together and everywhere and all that. So when he died, I was worried that she was going to die like immediately, because she'd never left that other cat. But that first night, we took her upstairs, to the bed and just to see if she'd lay there with us or whatever. And yeah, she did. She never left after that, so it was good. So.
Kevin, are you a dog guy or cat guy?
Dog with cats.
In other words, dogs. If you could only own one, you'd rather own a dog.
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
I like cats.
Okay.
Only because they're so low maintenance, and they're basically assholes.
Yeah. Cats are assholes.
Oh yeah, they do what the fuck they want.
Well, I like that about them, though.
Well, me too. That's what I like about them.
I like the fact
you don't have to worry about them. They go over, they eat, they shit in one place, the whole bit. It's great.
Oh, they go in a box. A dog has to go outside, and you have to scoop up his poop.
I've even got a dog door that goes into my garage where the cat can go out and take a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't do it in the house anymore.
Yeah.
And he just goes out and the thing flaps and he goes out there, does his thing, comes back in, wants a fucking treat, and sit there and stare us down until he gets his fucking treat. Well, yeah, they're very independent. They're neat because the shit that they do, you know, it's like, you're on my fucking time.
You don't have to take care of them. Dogs, you have to take out for a walk. You have to scoop their poop. You have to
pick up their shit. That's what I don't like.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to follow anybody around with a bag.
And people who say that, well, dogs are more loyal than cats, I've got to tell you, almost every cat I've owned has been terribly loyal to me.
Yeah,
you know,
I don't think they're any different. They're just different in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, what's his name? My former producer. Oh God, I'm just out of it. Albert. He has a cat that the cat always sits in back of him on the bed, and you know he's always there, and he loves that cat. You know, just loves him, just adores him. So I've always just been a big cat fan. Marjorie is a dog fan, but she likes cats. She would, you know, when Berta would come to stay with us, this friend's cat, who, when they go away, they drop her off here and we take care of her. She loved that cat. She just loved having that cat around, you know.
Yeah, we normally have 2. We obviously lost one about 3 years ago. He was only 5 years old to leukemia, which was strange, but
I just don't want to get a cat now because I have this fear that, you know, one day we're going to be gone and that cat is going to have to be left with somebody because
get an adult one.
Well, somebody said get an adult cat. Yeah, get a you know.
Well, you can get one that's up there in age and take care of it, and it'll find a home.
Yeah, people said for us to do that, and I thought that's not a bad idea. You know,
my daughter went out and got a cat up at college, and he picked her up with 3 legs.
I just don't want to get a
kitten. They did was amputated a leg.
Yeah, I just don't want a kitten that's going to sit there looking at me going, you know, you're going to be gone soon. I'm still going to be here. You know, because cats can give you that kind of look.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah. So, you know what this reminds me of? I got to tell people, the 3 of us, along with Patrick Blazik, get together on Saturday and we have our own little discussion. You know, we just discuss stuff. I kind of am the first one to beg off, you know, because I get tired easy. But and so the 3 of us here are basically what we do on Saturday. And so what I'm thinking of is recording this, and then we can just play this as a rerun on Saturday.
Taking that off.
Yeah. What happens is people say to me, "Why don't you just put those things on the internet?" And you guys have put it best. I mean, it's a time when we can say stuff we truly feel, and we don't care who's, you know, nobody's listening to it. We're not going to get in trouble for it, you know? And there's some pretty good discussions. You know, it's very nice. It's very nice of you to have added me to that group, you know. It's something I look forward to. I think we all do, you know. Yeah. So I don't know what we could talk about here. I mean, I'm just so sick and tired of the big orange one, as I think you are. Yeah. But
what did he do today? My wife was saying something about he signed an executive order that it's okay to physically punish kids in school now.
What?
I said, "Are you sure? Did you look that up?" That's what she said. That they can
look. I don't not believe it.
I know that's the whole thing. Is there's so much wild shit you don't know what's real and what's not, and you got to really dig into it to find out.
Well, I mean, the big thing he was doing today was is this whole thing about now he's mad at Putin.
Yeah,
he said, Vladimir, stop bombing Kiev. Okay.
Did you see the painting that he had commissioned?
No.
Yeah, I saw this on the news day before yesterday. He had Putin had his commissioned artist over in Russia do a portrait of Donald Trump.
Oh, God.
And they showed it on there, and it's Donald Trump with the Statue of Liberty over here, and the Capitol over here, and the flag behind him, and he's going like this, and he's got blood coming down his face. And he said that Putin said that shows a sign of strength, and so he wanted Wilcox to bring it back with him and give it to Trump.
Oh boy!
I mean, talk about a tool working a tool again.
Yeah,
these people
well, he knows how nobody knows how to play Trump better than Putin does.
Yeah, and because they're all figuring it out, though.
No, because Trump is going around saying, it was all the Ukraine's fault.
Yeah.
Where do you live? What world do you live in? That you actually believe that to be true.
He throws 145% tariff on China, and China says, "Fine, bring it on."
China doesn't care.
Let's go.
China's got the rest of the world to do business with,
buy shit with,
right?
Yeah, and they've already done that.
And China is a good producer of that sort of stuff. And if we don't want to, we don't want our iPhones made in China, fine. China's got somebody else who makes phones who wants to use China.
Yep.
So I mean, the whole notion that he has that, well, they've got to deal with us. No, they don't. No, they don't. They can say to hell with you. We've got other things.
But that whole thing with TSMC.
What's TSMC?
TSMC or TSM. They make all the parts. The TS. What is it? I know. I used to deal with the company myself. The company I worked for. We used to sell them gases. But they're supposed to be building a $500 million plant here. He announced that month or so ago. A couple of months ago, maybe. Yeah. When he had his big conference he had somebody from Japan here. I believe it was Japan. And I thought it was China, but I don't think it was with all this crap going on. But they're going to build this huge fab out here for wafers and that sort of thing. And I looked at that and I went, that just don't sound right. I haven't heard anything about it, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're playing him and saying, yeah, we'll bring those kinds of $500 million over here for you. Or $500 million or whatever, $500 billion, we'll bring it here for you, and then never do it. Because they can just drag that on for 3 years and then.
Oh, well, you do remember back when the company in China that has that factory that does all the building of stuff. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. And they said, we're going to build a factory. This is when he was president the last time. We're going to build a big factory in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went out there and they had this kissy, huggy, wonderful thing.
Wasn't that in Wisconsin?
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember what the name of the company was right now. It's the big one that does most of the manufacturing for the iPhones and so on.
Yeah.
And he listed. Excuse me, I got to clear my throat. Boy, this stuff in the air. What was I going to say? He then was kissing the ass of these people and going, oh, it's so wonderful. Look, these people are going to build a $1 billion factory here in Wisconsin. And then they never did. So all these people promise these things, but they never do them. What's the value to them of building something in the United States? Where are they going to get the cheap enough labor to build the stuff?
Well, and then, under the Biden administration with the CHIPS Act, they got Intel to build this new plant here in Ohio, in Columbus, New Albany, outside, not far from where I live. I know a lot of people going to work there.
Mm-hmm.
Been hauling these super loads through this little town we live in, closing all the streets, unhooking electric to get them through here and all this. And they're building it. Well, they finally got the rest of their money and grants and everything they were supposed to get. And like there's a headline in the Washington Post today, this is now after they've gotten paid, Intel to cut jobs and spending after getting $7.9 billion in federal grants.
Wow.
So they, the government gave $8 billion to one of the top 3 or 4 largest companies in the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
And with their $8 billion, they're going to turn around and cut jobs.
Wow.
And spending. That's what I'm saying. This
they do this shit all the time. I told you about the Amazon out here that was going to go up in south of us in Salinas, 1,000,000 square foot warehouse,
Mhm.
distribution center. Apparently, our county went down there and stole it from them, and they decided to build it here in town. Well, they built it. They
Mhm.
also freaking trained over, I don't know how many. They promised 900 jobs or 500 jobs, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
And they trained all these people months ahead of time, 6 months ahead of time, maybe more, I don't know. Trained them, got them all ready, and then when it came to open up the warehouse at the beginning of this year,
Mhm.
they fired them all. Robots.
Wow.
They didn't even open with people. Just the the main people that needed to be there, but all the guys
Just
that
the
be
main
out there.
robots.
Yeah, the robots were out there pulling the orders, loading, unloading the trucks, and all that stuff. We built a road for that frickin' warehouse.
Yeah.
I said it's time to go out there and work on the road, and accidentally run out of money, so they can't get their trucks in.
By the way, welcome to Tom Yamaguchi has joined us.
But they do this stuff all the time. Yeah,
I think
go
the
ahead.
company, the company you're talking about is Foxconn.
Foxconn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one. Those were the guys, and they never built it. They never built it. You know,
Yeah.
They were just tugging on his dick, basically.
Yeah, that's what I mean. These guys are all they're all tools playing each other.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
This is all OpenAI.
Mm-hmm.
CEO Altman of SoftBank was the one that brought that money in. And
Right,
it's supposed to bring the money in. I don't remember.
Well, I'm planning on building a $500 million studio for Gabnet.
Right, you can go tell them that.
I think I'll do it in South Carolina. How's that?
Yeah,
Sound good?
sure.
Yeah,
Right on the beach.
I saw, I didn't really do hardly any news today at all, but I actually I saw it on C-SPAN. Actually, I did see that the latest poll from, I think, yesterday or whatever, does have his approval rating down to 40%.
Well, the
51 unapproval,
which is the lowest for any president in the first 100 days that I know of, I think, on record. They showed, for example, President Obama was at like 67%. George W. Bush was at like 53 or 54. Clinton was in the high 60s. Joe Biden was at like 57 on their 90 something day in office. So it's the lowest first 100 days approval.
It sure dropped pretty fast, didn't it?
Oh,
Remember, it was up over 50 at one point, and all of a sudden, down.
He's like the thing that you had to buy, and then when you bought it, you're like, you never used it, right?
Well, I don't feel sorry for any Americans who voted for him. They can all screw themselves. They made a bad mistake, and there's nothing they can do about it. They don't realize this is a mistake they can make. It's going to last 4 years.
It'll last longer than that.
Well, I mean, the repercussions. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when we lose Ukraine.
Well, we're going to lose a lot of stuff. Okay. Yeah. I quite frankly, if we're here 4 years from now, I'm going to be amazed. I mean, we may be the poorest country in the world. The only happiness that I have is the fact that Elon Musk, Tesla sales in America are down 71%.
Yeah, they're
and the country of Germany has banned them from Germany.
Oh.
Okay, this is the one I was talking about. TSMC.
Mm-hmm.
They pledged $100 billion investment with Trump at the White House last month, on top of $65 billion pledged for 3 plants in U.S. state of Arizona.
Who did
I know that company, and I know they've already got like 3 or 4 fabs down there already, and it's probably 2 of those are the ones they're talking about.
Yeah, but TSMC, I know the name. I've seen the logo someplace.
Yeah, the Taiwan, what is it? Taiwan.
Yeah, they make a lot of things, right?
Yeah, the what do you call it?
But in Taiwan, that means they'll soon be a Chinese company, right?
Taiwan Multinational Semiconductor.
Okay.
TSMC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I mean, so the approval, ratings pretty bad. I'm sure he would go on television and say it's the highest of any president ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I
Well,
said,
he lies like crazy. I mean,
get in the way of a good lie. I would say,
you're going no, Tom. What was
Well, I
that?
said yes, he lies like crazy. It's like, I mean, oh, gas is down to $1 a gallon, and eggs are 50
Where?
cents a gallon.
No, he said eggs were 50% cheaper than when he took office. No, they aren't.
I think he said 90%.
It was like 70, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No, they aren't.
And I bet you we all heard the same thing.
In fact, Donald, if you're listening to the program tonight, please call us and let us know where you shop.
Yeah, right. Like he buys eggs.
Oh, he doesn't buy anything. Do you remember the time he was talking about, you go to the what was it, the frozen egg refrigerator?
Yeah. That's like groceries. Groceries. We'll call them groceries. They're a thing,
Yeah, groceries
in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his first term, he was trying to convince us that people needed an ID to buy groceries.
What?
That people needed a picture ID in order to buy food. Remember that?
True.
That was the first. Trump shit show.
A picture ID to buy food.
Yeah.
Weird name. Yeah, it's always something.
Yeah.
I don't even.
Amazing.
So, we'll see if the rating stays down there or not. I mean,
well, also there was a thing today about is it millennials or is it Gen Xers? They asked Gen Xers what they felt about stuff, and his approval rating is nil with those people because
he doesn't get their vote in the first place.
I saw a headline that said among some group like that you named, that his rating was 15%. Only 15% of that group believe that the country is on the right track when they were asked the right track, wrong track question. But I didn't read the story to find out, I don't know what the historical number for, do they always say, historically in those polls, are those group of young people, are they always saying the country's on the wrong track? Is it his was 15%? I don't know what everybody else's usually is. Like when they asked, that's what I'm saying. When they asked it of Biden and Obama, was it 60%? Now his is 15, or was it normally like, it's 18%?
Well, you know what? What also gets me about Trump is he gauges everything by, well, Biden did this and Biden did this wrong and Biden did that wrong. Well, tell me what you've done right.
And we have and he talks about how, the last administration, Biden, how he was. And he talks to these other world leaders like that.
And they sit there going, yeah. Did you see the Norwegian today? I'm not buying any more fish.
They're in the frickin' Oval Office. They're just playing his game.
Well, I've been told by people who worked at the White House that what presidents do in order to get their way with people is bring them into the Oval Office. And the minute they're there, they are so in awe of being in the Oval Office.
I think so.
That they're anybody's bitch.
Yeah. And he knows it. So he brings the press in too.
Yep.
So this is a true, on whitehouse.gov, he reinstated common sense school discipline policies. Most of this is about DEI.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have safety and order in American classrooms, ensuring safety and order in American, which probably opens the door to get whacked on the hand or shoved into a closet or something like that. They do that to my kid, I'd fucking...
Hey, anybody wants to hit, if I had a kid, anybody wants to hit my kid in school is going to have to deal with me.
Going to be a lot of freaking lawsuits coming after that one.
You want me to discipline the kid for you? Then fine. Let me know what he did wrong, and when he comes home from school, I'll have a talk with him.
Yep.
I don't believe you as a parent, and you're a parent too, right, Tom? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never been a parent, and neither is, I don't think, Josh, you've never been a parent, right? But for the two of you, I mean, you both had kids. Did you spank them?
No.
Nope.
No.
I don't think I wouldn't spank a kid either.
They heard it.
Hmm?
They heard what they needed to
Oh,
hear.
my father,
Yeah.
German, right?
Oh, yeah.
Had a guttural
German
voice
mother-in-law.
that when he yelled at me, forget it. He didn't
You know
have
what?
to hit me. He didn't have to hit me. And on top of that, I loved my father. So when he was mad at me, I felt bad.
Yeah, my
Right.
dad was too. Does he give you the look? Did he give you the look?
No, I think he just screamed.
They
He
usually
just
give
yelled.
you the look because my mother-in-law does that, and she had my daughter. Like all she had to do is go, sunshine, and her eyes would get big, and she'd fucking tension.
Well, I had
Never touched her.
I had a theory. I didn't spank my cats.
She loves her to death.
You know, I didn't spank my cats at all. You know, like get them off the
it
table or
doesn't-
whatever. I don't. I
know-
pick them up and take them off the table. You know.
Yeah, and I got beat like a fucking dead broomstick when I was a kid. I did something.
Well,
wrong,
if the
they
parent
whacked me. I
wants
got
to
holes
spank
in
the
doors at
kid,
home.
that's their idea of how they should raise a kid.
Well, in
It's
the
for them
50s
to
and
do,
60s.
but it's not for the school to do.
No,
Right.
no.
And it's not being really liberal, folks, or anything else. It's just saying, hey, you're not the parent. You don't have the right to do that. The parent has the right to do that if he wants to. If you want to brutalize your child, then I guess that's your job, you know. But anyway, so you know, it's just all scary, you know. It's all.
It is.
Who knows what's happening next?
Yeah. Also, speaking of executive orders, I just looked at my email. I'm getting all these emails from different fundraisers saying that Trump signed an executive order and launched an investigation by the Justice Department of Act Blue.
What's Act Blue?
Act Blue is an online donation platform.
Mm-hmm.
So candidates can use it for fundraising. And the nice thing about it is you can give small amounts of money. And you can also do it on a regular basis. So if you want to give $3 a month, you know, you can do that until you decide you don't want to give anymore. It's great.
It's basically the organization that collects funds for the Democratic Party.
Right. Yeah.
Like
And what he's trying to do something about that?
Donated to the Harris campaign. They were the entity that collected and distributed the money. They're like the Visa and MasterCard for that political party. They're the processor of the payment.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that like
not just the Democratic Party? A lot of progressive organizations that you know.
is that like Move On, Tom?
I
think Move On's different.
I think Move On uses them as a fundraiser.
Yeah,
I mean, this the roots of this go back to Obama. Obama was really the one that developed this way of raising small grassroots donations that, you know, could even end up to be millions of dollars amongst, you know, millions of people, you know.
Yeah.
And if it's such a bad idea, the Republicans have developed their own. It's called Win Red. So they have their own too. So I don't know why he's investigating one and not the other. I'm really, you know, really interested in finding more of the details of this.
Well, I think the biggest story, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a broadcaster and it bothers me, is all that's happening over there at CBS.
CBS, yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because you watch the CBS Evening News, right?
I watch it one night and I watch the other one the next night.
Yeah.
I don't think they've been covering it, have they?
I heard a thing. I listened to Michelangelo Signorilli show, and he actually they actually talked about the producer for 60 Minutes.
Bill Owen. Yeah.
They actually were talking about it on the CBS Evening News as a news story and giving the details of the reason why the network was caving is because they want to get this deal to go through.
Well, what it is that
Skydance.
Viacom, which is CBS, and is trying to be bought by somebody else. They're actually it's kind of like that. They're letting somebody buy in to CBS. Okay, and it's the company Skydance.
Right.
And who's Larry Ellison's son, I think, is the head of Skydance.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they want to make this deal because what's her name? The woman who runs CBS. Redstone, the daughter of.
Yeah, daughter.
Yeah. She wants to get rid of it. You know, they're going to keep a little bit of it, but they want to sell most of it off. Well, in order to, the networks, if you want to just sell a network, I guess you can just sell a network. But the problem is these networks all own local broadcast affiliates.
Right.
And while the FCC has no control over the networks, none at all, they do have control over those licenses.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to try and sell CBS, you're going to sell it along with the licenses, and then the FCC has to okay it. Mm-hmm. She's afraid that she's not going to be able to make the sale. So what happened is supposedly, Trump then turned around and sued CBS for, is it $2 billion, I think? It's something like
lot, yeah.
like $2 billion. And, most people who know the case, most lawyers who know the case say, Trump can't win this one. It's just, it's impossible to do this sort of thing and not be accused of trying to, involve yourself in the business of censorship and everything else. So it seems as though Redstone and her people have been pressuring Bill Owen, who's the head of 60 Minutes, who's being sued, by the way. They're the main people being sued because it's over the Kamala Harris interview. Okay, well, it's a stupid, it's a what do you call it? What do they call it? A nuisance suit.
Bot suit?
Well, I mean, it's just going to cost CBS a lot of money to defend it. In the end, they're going to win, but they can't turn around and sue Trump and get the money from him for all the money they spent defending it. Anyway, one thing leads to another. Bill Owen quits because he's being told by CBS, cool it, be careful, don't do this, don't do that. And then the whole time he's been the head of 60 Minutes, nobody has ever told him what to do. They had a certain independence. And so he quit. Mm-hmm. And it's because she's about to capitulate with Trump. Yeah. And all these people that go around capitulating with Trump don't realize that they're doing so at their own peril.
Yeah.
Because he's a bully, and he's the kind of guy that if you capitulate with him, that ain't the end of it. Now he knows he's got you. Mm-hmm. Columbia University ain't going to go good for Columbia University, even though they caved into him. So this is why Harvard is refusing to cave into him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You read that article I sent you, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a good article.
Yeah. So, I mean, it really is, it's pretty terrible what's going on with the press and with the beating up on the press. And it's the only thing you're ever accused of is that you don't agree with Trump. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah. That's the only fight they have. I mean, so far as 60 Minutes is concerned, hey, they had Kamala Harris on. They edited the interview like they would edit any interview. And he said, it's to make me look bad and so on. But Donald Trump, it's been a tradition of 60 Minutes. The Sunday before the election, they have both candidates on. And they do half-hour interview with one, half-hour interview with the other. Okay? He turned them down. So if you turned them down, Donald, to hell with you. You had your opportunity, put your 2 cents worth in. That's why he's going to lose. And but still, it's a terrible thing for him. Just terrible. Oh, anyway, that's just another thing he's doing that's making it difficult for people and making it difficult for the public to get good news, good solid news, And what's everybody going to be? They're going to be afraid of doing this, of trying to do any kind of news that doesn't agree with him. And you got to remember, all these companies are owned by corporations who are on the stock market, and they don't want any trouble with Trump, and Trump is giving them a bad time. So we don't live in good times. What?
Nope.
Yeah. Anybody comment? I'm through talking.
Agreed.
Agreed. Yeah, we're screwed.
Pretty much.
Well, we shouldn't be screwed. I mean, this isn't what America's about. I got to tell you, in my time alive, I've had many times where I felt the country was in bad shape and that it was going downhill and we were losing our democracy and all of that. And in all the time that I believed in that, something came along, a new president or somebody like that, who replaced the old one, who corrected the problems of the old one. And this time, it's the worst I've ever seen it. Yeah. I've never seen it like this. I've never been so worried.
Nixon looked like Christmas Day.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I said, it doesn't make George Bush look too bad, does it?
Right.
And I said, well, it doesn't make Bush Senior look too bad. In fact, it doesn't even make Ronald Reagan look bad. Nixon, forget it. He doesn't look bad compared to Donald Trump. As a matter of fact, Hitler doesn't look bad compared to Donald Trump.
Well,
I don't know if I go that far. Not yet.
Not yet. I think Trump is working on it.
Probably if you
be the best.
Didn't he at one point say Hitler wasn't terrible?
Yeah. He did some good things. Yeah,
on both sides.
He did some good things. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's terrible. It's just disgusting.
It is. I mean, if you watch the press conferences with that Caroline, she is like a puppet. My God.
With her little cross around her neck.
Yeah, and she just stands up there and she's like comes into the conference like this, going, "Okay, I just talked to Trump, and here's what's going on. If you don't like it, fuck you."
The terrible thing is, though, about some Republican women, she's not a bad-looking woman.
You know what she reminds me of is the little bitch in the corner of the classroom that used to sit there and go, "You can't do this to me. I think, fuck you." And then they would come back and.
Oh, I thought there was somebody laughing here.
Call real quick. Yeah, let me get this call. Sorry. That's what I think of her.
Okay, thank you. What do you think of her, Josh?
I'm not a fan of any of them. I mean, they're pretty fake, to me. But
you know who really bothers me a lot is Marco Rubio. To begin with, Marco Rubio is not a stupid guy. All right, he's not stupid, and in a lot of ways, fairly moral as a human being, but yet. He doesn't want to lose his job as Secretary of State. So he is kowtowing to Trump like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'm sure, yeah, he's, like I said, he's a fake person. He is doing things that he knows will hurt people, around the world, and not, like evil, nefarious. We're not talking, like Hitler and all that. But I mean, he's pushing an agenda, because of this Trump line that he knows will affect the lives of people across the world negatively, and that he knows that in turn, many of those people will look elsewhere for that assistance and that cooperation and those partnerships, and it will no longer be the United States. It will indeed be the Chinese, or, the Russians, or the Iranians, or, even if someone who isn't a bad actor, even if it's someone in the European Union or whatever, that will come along and make up for some of that. And then they will reap the rewards of those partnerships, someone like India, for example. And that will make the United States weaker. and
I got to
less.
jump off. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, really? Did something
I got a
happen?
phone call.
Oh.
No,
But no,
realtor
it'll
called. I'll talk. I'll leave it on, and maybe I'll be back.
Leave it on, come on back when you want
you know
to.
it'll
Yeah.
it'll make the United States weaker and less secure, and he knows that. So why is he doing it? I mean, that's where I've said this before. I don't have any respect at all for him and others like him. None. Who will not speak their mind. He
Mm-hmm.
will not say things that I know that he knows is the case, that is true. We know that because he's said them before.
Mm-hmm.
He's completely changed opinions that he had in 2015, for example, all because of what happened in 2016. You know what I mean? I mean, suddenly things that he was never for, he was for, and the only reason he's for him is because his daddy said he was for him. I mean, that's it. Daddy Trump said, "This is what I think." Oh, yes, I agree. I mean, it's so fake and it's so sick. And I've said it before. I don't care who likes it, who doesn't. I have no respect for men who worship another man the way that they do. I mean, it's so.
I don't think they worship him. I think they're afraid of him.
Sick.
I think they're afraid of him.
Then they're even worse than when they worship people.
Oh, they're cowards.
That's
They're
scary.
absolute cowards. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, the trouble with Marco Rubio is he could be a very good Secretary of State. He's got the chops to do it. But as long as he is doing the bidding of Donald Trump,
Right.
I mean, what I think was the most egregious thing that he did was when they did that thing in the Oval Office with what's his name, Ukrainian president, Zelensky. They all started attacking Zelensky, piling on him.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. He just sat there, but he didn't say anything. And I thought that was just as bad as piling on him. Somebody should have jumped in and said, "Hey, guys, let's hold it down here." But nobody wants to do that to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy you don't say anything against him. That's it. Plain and simple,
Yeah, I just don't respect any of those people who operate that way, and Rubio is one of them. Ted Cruz is another. Ron Johnson in Wisconsin is another. That a low life dirtbag, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, he knows the things that he says are lies, are wrong. I mean, I've actually, someone was, I can't even remember who it was. Now, this is probably 6 or 8 months ago, where, someone had published a book and they had said, I can't tell you who told me this, but they told me that Ron Johnson will go on TV and do an interview and say these things, and as soon as he's done, will like take the earpiece out and tell people, I need to go take a shower because I'm a piece of shit, because everything that I said was just total garbage. He knows it in his mind, in his heart, and yet he does it. I don't. How do I respect somebody
Well,
like
I
that?
just want to know where a Republican is anymore. I haven't been able to find a real Republican. There are few of them somewhere out there. But, I mean, these are, as much as I've been a Democrat all my life, I never hated the Republican Party. I just considered them the loyal opposition. Yeah. But now I look at them and I'm going, where are any of these guys who are saying, what the hell's Trump doing?
Yeah, what are their values now? They have no values. They only have loyalty to Trump. Anything that Trump says, tariffs, or what we actually, the correct term would be.
But I'm sure there's some Republicans there that would like to lash out at him, but they're afraid to.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't, I don't understand. I mean, it's sad and it's confusing. I mean, like the whole thing's, some of the stuff with Robert Kennedy, Jr. and things, and the way the government's gonna, outlaw these things in the food and the school times. And I mean, years ago, not years ago, I'm sorry, but not that long ago, I mean, the Republicans they were totally against this government intervention in your life and in the free market. And I mean, when Michael Bloomberg said we should ban sugary drinks because people get addicted to them and they're killing you, Republicans, put him through
made
a
fun of
grinder,
him.
and then after the meat grinder, they dropped him in a deep fryer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I happen to agree with it because I thought, people can have whatever they want. But, now Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. say it, and these same exact people are like, oh, yeah, absolutely, we should ban this stuff.
Well, I mean, Robert Kennedy Jr. isn't 100% wrong. That's the terrible part.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the fact that a lot of that stuff is garbage and junk, and that's fine. But I'm saying their position is different, And second, I guess I would say if that's what people want, let the market decide that. Personally, I would. I have a little bit of the libertarian.
Let the market decide it. I mean, as the whatever his job is, RFK Jr.'s job is.
Yeah, which is
he could say, "I just suggest to people that you don't use fluoride."
Yeah, which is how I said. Then you were talking a minute ago. 8 or 10 years ago or whatever. There wasn't hatred for Republicans because there were some things that would come up here and there where I would be like, well, I agree with him on that.
Yeah.
Michael Bloomberg.
Well, there are a couple of things that RFK Jr.
in New York City. Fuck him.
There are a couple of things that RFK Jr. has said recently that sounds reasonable.
Correct.
The thing about fluoride is that I think we could probably stop putting fluoride in the water because there are other ways you can get it. There are fluoride toothpaste, fluoride mouth rinses, things like that. But I don't think it causes, stupidity or autism or anything like that,
No, I agree. I mean, that's what I'm saying is there were areas where I understood where they were coming from and I agreed with it. And when some super liberal, like I said, would come out and say I shouldn't be able to go into a convenience store and buy a Mountain Dew because it might kill me, and it's like, no, I'm sorry. That's up to me,
Well, I think
government,
everything should be available, but you should warn people when they shouldn't be doing
the
it.
information should be available, and companies should not be able to lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, basically what you just do is you put a tax on it. That's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And people end up drinking less. And you use taxes to finance the healthcare system that they're needing because they're not taking care of their bodies.
I think the best example we've had in recent times have been cigarettes. How did we make cigarettes so people didn't buy them anymore? We didn't make them illegal. We didn't do any of that. We just made them déclassé. We made them not. Yes, we mind very much if you smoke. Oh, you can't smoke in the movie theater. Right. I mean, eventually it got to a point where people just quit out of self-defense. I know I did.
That, and it's abundantly clear that they are harmful to your health, correct?
Yes.
I mean, if you do not know that by now, okay.
Yeah.
But they also tax them too. They also tax them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
it got to the point, I didn't realize it because I haven't smoked in years. A pack of cigarettes is $12 now.
Well, they are very expensive, yes.
When I was a kid, they were like 75 cents,
I mean, heck, like I said, a pop, soda pop, whatever everyone calls it. God, it's expensive as hell now, because aluminum prices up, raw material price. But look, if that's what people want to spend their money on, a lot of people know.
Well, I prefer to use plastics because all they do is, ensnare fish. Right. So. By the way, I saw a documentary they're running on Disney, 3 documentaries on penguins. If you get a chance, watch them. It's amazing. Penguins are just amazing. They stink, they smell, but they're amazing. Because I didn't realize there are penguins in Africa. Huh? Did you know that? Well,
anyway. You mentioned it last night, no?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that last night.
Yeah. So anyway, we're living in strange. People say you live in interesting times. Well, these are interesting times, and I don't have to live in them. I hate to think my last few years on Earth are going to have to be at the behest of this guy for the most part. Because by the time he gets out of office, I'm going to have no brain cells left. So but maybe that's good. Maybe that's good. Anyway, thanks to all of you. I really appreciate it. I want to thank Josh for being here tonight. I want to thank Tom for calling tonight, and for Kevin, who had to leave us here.
Kevin's armchair is going to wave goodbye.
The armchair is going to wave goodbye. And it's really been nice having you here. And to anybody else who didn't call, well, screw you. All right.
Jeff tried to call, but
yes, Jeff tried to call. Anyway, thank you everybody for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Everybody, you want to wave goodbye? That would be nice if you want to wave goodbye, and I'll wave goodbye back at you. Okay, there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight, and a good one too, I might add. And we had a lot of people listening to them as well. So it was a good show, all in all. Stay tuned now for Amy Manuel. She's next here with The Intersection. She'll be taking your calls on Zoom. Her Zoom address, you can click on access to her on our Gabnet page. In the meantime, I'll see you again tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Night, everybody.